Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Today I will recap and explain a recently released movie called The Parenting. The film opens in 1983, inside a sprawling rural mansion where Donna, a single mom, is sobbing over the finale of the popular show MASH. She's raising two teens, Allie and Jamie, who embody the classic 80s vibe. Donna knocks on Allie's door, urging her to come down for dinner, but gets no response. She turns to Jamie for help, but he, acting like a total jerk, brushes her off. While she's begging him, an unseen force suddenly pulls her into the basement in a shocking ambush. Her scream echoes through the house, prompting Jamie to venture downstairs looking for her. He finds Donna's lifeless body and the mysterious entity. Panicking, he screams for Allie, but before he can escape, the entity kills him as well. Allie finally steps out of her room, looking petrified as the wallpaper around her begins to peel and fall. A voice in the background asks what she's witnessing. As the entity advances, she tries to retreat to her room only to find it inexplicably locked from the inside. Her final, fatal cry reverberates through the house. Fast forward to today, and the story pivots to Rohan and Josh, a gay couple in a loosely defined relationship, arriving at the same house with their dog, Katie. They're thrilled about officially introducing their parents to each other. The place has been fully revamped, managed by a woman named Brenda on behalf of the owners, who run it as an Airbnb-style rental. Rohan and Josh are her first guests. She fibs about the 80s tragedy, passing it off as a deadly fire. Brenda gives them a tour, then hands over the keys, an emergency number, and a bizarre Wi-Fi password Ego son Tibby Andreas. As she leaves, the eager duo considers a quick hookup, but Rohan's interrupted by a call from their friend Sarah. He steps outside to talk. Sarah warns him against proposing to Josh on impulse, insisting he's not ready, sparking a small argument. Meanwhile, Rohan and Josh catch Brenda creeping out of the bushes with a trunk, acting odd. She claims she's measuring the land for construction, but it's suspiciously off. Sarah accidentally texts Josh instead of Rohan, cautioning against a proposal, which blows the surprise. Josh, blindsided, gets super excited. Later, Rohan's adoptive parents, Frank and Sharon, show up, meet Josh, and everyone settles in. Rohan's clearly on edge, unsure how his parents will handle everything. He fibs to Frank, saying Josh works at REI and dabbles in songwriting on the side. Sometime later, Josh's parents, Liddy and Cliff, roll in with their trio of dogs, Frick, Frack, and F-Bomb. They're a lively, humorous pair, a stark contrast to the more subdued Frank and Sharon. During this scene, we catch a glimpse of a tiny model of the house trapped in a glass jar, vigorously shaken by an unseen hand. Out of nowhere, snow begins falling outside the mansion, odd for a season not yet primed for it. Inside, Liddy and Sharon strike up a conversation. Liddy shares that Cliff teaches math at a high school where she worked as a receptionist. That's where they met. Sharon responds that she's a retired psychologist, while Frank's an architect. Liddy casually mentions Josh losing his job in May and how Rohan stepped up big time to support him. This catches Rohan and Josh off guard, their faces blank, since they'd fibbed to Sharon about Josh's employment. Josh fesses up, apologizing to Sharon and admitting he's a full-time songwriter. To win her over, he belts out a tune, cringeworthy and not exactly a hit. Feeling down, Josh texts Sarah about his woes. To cope, he pops a handful of sleeping gummies despite Rohan's strict no-no, which knocks him out at dinner. Trying to charm the group, he asks Alexa to play music, but the Wi-Fi's dead. Undeterred, he sings aloud himself. Surprisingly, Frank loves it, joining in, and soon everyone's having a blast. Mid-performance, Josh finds the Wi-Fi password in his pocket. As he reads it out, a filthy hand yanks his leg from under the table. He leaps up, jolted like he's hit with 420 volts, spilling his gummies in the chaos. All this ticked off Rohan. Later, as they settle into their rooms, Sharon's unimpressed, Frank's more bothered by the Wi-Fi glitch than his son's boyfriend, and Rohan's stressed, his perfect parent meetup's gone off the rails. Suddenly, loud bangs echo through the room. Sharon and Frank suspect Liddy and Cliff are getting frisky, while Liddy and Cliff think it's the reverse. But the truth is, a zombie woman in the house is smashing her head against the wall. After a while the noise stops, then restarts. Josh quips it's round 2. That night, Sarah shows up unannounced, ringing the doorbell to lend a hand. She crashes on the couch and, upon seeing the Wi-Fi password, wonders why it's in Latin. It translates to "I give you myself, Andres." Sleepless, Frank fiddles with password variations, but nothing works. Then he hears a voice calling his name. Following it to the basement, he spots a demonic figure. Cool as ever, he mutters the password instead of panicking. The next morning, Sarah bursts in to meet everyone at breakfast. Josh asks for a knife. Frank, inexplicably, grabs a butcher knife and slashes Josh's wrist. Everyone freaks, including Frank. Sharon demands an explanation, and Frank, losing it, cuts Josh's shoulder again to demonstrate. The dogs, Frick, Frack, and F-bomb, go wild, barking furiously, as does Rohan. Hearing all this, Frank screams silence at the dogs, which shake a heavy cabinet and topple. It crushes one dog. Horrified, Sharon drags Frank to their room while the others grapple with the madness. Rohan comforts Josh, and Sarah tries calling a hospital, but there's no signal. They're isolated. Later, Frank stumbles in stark naked, ranting and hurling insults at Josh before vomiting a feast's worth. He's obviously sick. F-bomb dog laps up the vomit, disgusting Liddy, who shoos it away. Then the dog's eyes glow red, hinting at something demonic. Clearly, Frank's possessed. While Sarah stitches Josh's wound, he and Rohan bicker heatedly. Fed up, Rohan storms outside into thick snow that's buried the cars. In a fit, he tosses the proposal ring he'd gotten for Josh. Inside, Frank's condition worsens. The entity within him taunts, "I'm slowly taking you, you're already dead, no use fighting." Frank resists, but it's gaining ground. After calming down, Rohan tries reconciling with Josh, who's too upset to hear it. Then they spot the zombie lady again and lose it. She crawls backwards, snatching Josh's hand in a flash attack, making him shriek. Rohan screams too. Liddy rushes in, flips on the lights, and the zombie vanishes. Down in the basement, Sarah hunts for a shovel and finds an old box with photos of Donna's family. A teenage zombie lunges at her. She bolts upstairs, panicked. Everyone's spooked, realizing something's seriously wrong with this house. Sarah brings the box, which includes a demonology book. A note to Allie on the first page claims a solution on page 85. Sharon reads, "It's about Andreas, a storm-wielding possession master with a man's body and raven's head, needing a human host to enter our world. He must be trapped in a protective circle." Cliff notes the house is ringed by circles. Weird. Josh, freaked, insists Frank is possessed and needs containing. Sharon snaps, dismissing it as nonsense, and storms off with noodles after a shouting match with Josh. In Frank's room, he is bathing, so Sharon waits and dozes off after a while. She gets a dream in which Frank says he loves her and Rohan, and then politely asks her to kill him. She wakes to an empty noodle bowl and a cryptic message on the wall. Spooked, she searches for Frank. His body floats midair, trailing her, eerie yet comical. Then he grabs her throat, choking her in the air. Sarah and Josh watched in horror as the scene unfolded. In a panic, Josh lunged toward Frank and delivered a hard punch to his back. The impact sent Sharon tumbling to the ground, while Frank, completely unfazed, eerily twisted his head a full 180 degrees to face Rohan, Josh, and Sarah. At that moment, it became disturbingly clear Frank was possessed, and Sharon, instead of reacting with fear, seemed unsettlingly convinced of whatever was happening. Frank suddenly erupted into uncontrollable, maniacal laughter. Without hesitation, Josh struck him again, this time landing a punch straight to his face. The response? Frank violently spewed the contents of his stomach all over Josh, a sight so utterly disgusting, yet somehow darkly hilarious. Sharon thanks Josh for saving her and cleans him up. He's safe since he kept his mouth shut. They barricade Frank's room. Rohan calls Brenda's emergency number and miraculously gets a signal. He apologizes to Liddy and Cliff for the disastrous plan, meant to be a sweet family moment. Cliff gets it. Later he hands Josh his gun, forced on him by his brother. Sharon and Liddy chat like old pals. Sharon apologizes for snapping at Josh, admitting her strictness made Rohan introverted. Just then F-bomb attacks Liddy's wrist. Sharon whacks it with a hammer first, and then Cliff smashes it hard to save her. Now, Sharon saw a beam of light just at the outskirts of the house, so Josh and Rohan went ahead to check it out. It's Brenda's. She greets them, asking if they've had fun or roused a demon. She owns the miniature mansion model. It turns out it was she who had the miniature version of the mansion. She narrates what's happening. In the 80s, she was Allie's friend. Her parents were into the occult and Donna didn't like it. She didn't want Allie to be friends with her. In their joyful teenage years, Brenda brought the demonology book from her house to just check it out. She and Allie drew a protective circle with some chicken blood and chants. They messed around with the book. To their shock, demon Andres appeared in front of them in their control. Brenda, just to check it out, asked Andres to get Donna and Jamie. As he did it, the screams of Donna and Jamie freaked Allie. She rushed out of the circle to check on them. We saw what happened to her then in the beginning. It was Brenda who was in the room when Allie died. From that moment onwards, Andres put a voice in her mind and allowed her to leave only to find a suitable body to escape the house. Since then, Andres has whispered in her mind, letting her leave to find a host. She's waited years for the right body under a warm moon-specific conditions. This year was perfect. She aimed for Josh, but Frank got taken. She drew a circle around the house so that once Frank crosses it, the possession would be permanent. After that, Andres would wipe the human race out. Brenda would still be alive because of her special relationship with the demon. Also, she liked the occult. Rohan and Josh were dumbfaced hearing all this, how they were lured into a trap. Before these two could get hold of her, she escaped. Josh says there is only one way to stop this, and that would be to kill Frank inside the circle. Back at the house, all the snow has magically vanished, and we see Brenda chanting something to lure Frank out. The circle is lit with fire. Rohan and Josh rushed back to the house to save Frank, but it was too late. He started walking out. Josh dragged Sharon outside while Rohan picked up the gun and book. There, he saw the zombie lady again, who was none other than Donna. She tried to help, but it didn't work. Now, Rohan hands the gun to Josh and asks him to shoot him as he offers himself to Andres to possess instead of Frank. Andres likes this idea since Rohan is young compared to Frank's older body. He begins possessing Rohan, but Josh, instead of shooting him, starts chanting, deciding to sacrifice himself instead. Similarly, all the parents and Sarah start chanting, which confuses Andres. He gets trapped between them and weakens over time. Soon, he appears in his original form, completely weakened. Frank seizes the chance to crush him with his leg. Finally, Andres dies, or, let's say, returns whence he came. In the end, Josh proposes to Rohan, who accepts. Brenda and others see the ghosts of Donna, Jamie, and Allie, who flip Brenda off before disappearing. Oh yes, the F-bomb dog was still alive. Sarah intended to send Brenda to jail, but she escaped. With that, the movie ends. Even though this experience was horrifying, it brought the family together. In the face of danger, Rohan and Josh united with their family to support them. If you're in the mood for a light, silly horror comedy with a stellar cast having fun, then it's worth a watch. Otherwise, it's an average movie. It shifts quickly from witty family banter to full-on horror. The scares are rarely truly frightening, and the comedy dips into juvenile territory, fart jokes, dick jokes, etc. Hope you liked this video. Please subscribe to my channel and give it a like. Thanks for watching.